I've probably lived in this home for longer than I've lived anywhere else, actually. We've been in this house for 13 years, I think. I feel like I've moved around quite a lot. I spent quite a lot of my life thinking about home and about where I belong, I suppose. A sense of belonging. Home is where you have a sense of belonging. Within the home, within the actual four walls, if you're lucky enough to have them. The people that are there that you share your home with, if you're lucky enough to share your home with someone. Outside of the four walls and the place, the physical place, and also I suppose the community, but I mean that in a widest sense really, the kind of how I feel, whether I feel I sort of fit in some way, which I guess we all probably think about to a different degree. You know, I think that feeling of sort of belonging and the sort of ongoing search for that or interest in that, which is what's precipitated this homing project, comes about from the move that my family did when I was 8 from South London to Wales.
I was brought up in Peckham and went to school up the road, but I don't live here anymore. I've travelled the world, so everywhere I go is home for me.
Home is to me somewhere where you rest your head, you know. You got people checking you, making sure you're okay. You know, you got something to do in your home, like a Gino, or you got a computer, you got a PlayStation or something. You got people checking you, making sure you're okay, you know.
She's there.
My brother and I constantly saying to each other how lucky we are to have had a very, very stable family setup and environment. This is in Yorkshire, so I'm a Yorkshireman by birth and upbringing. Yes, as you can tell. Yeah. So.
This might break, or the rain might just be.
Come on then, I'll watch that. Harriet, thank you.
Now, obviously 30, 40 years ago, not one single building was there. No luxury flats. Anywhere on Vauxhall Bridge looking southwest was just a blank curl of river.
Like for me, there was the parcel of food from Sicily coming here, you know? Yeah, that's feeling of home. Having something sent by my mother to here. But now it's not even something that becomes such a big deal that you just give up.
you've got major projects coming to an end. You've still like Battersea Power Station, that's going to house people, that's going to finish soon, you know, and it's only a matter of time before there'll be a knock-on effect. It goes a bit quiet and then it rebuilds again.
God, we've still got quite a way to go, haven't we?
We spent the pandemic down in Sussex. That feels like home. My dad's down there and it's quieter, it's in nature, we've got the river and it just has that feeling. That's where I want to be. That's home. Yeah, that is definitely home. This is just temporary here.
A lot of people with emotional problems, they want to travel because they attempt geographical escape. I've done a lot of that, but you know the thing is, wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
We just live in Useley, where we've lived all our lives, haven't we?
Yeah.
In the same house for 54
years.
4 years.
This is 2 years on this boat. I lived on a boat for 3 years prior to this, and I lived on the road in a van for almost 10 years. I lived with my folks for about 3 years, and it felt like somebody had screwed my feet to the floor. It really did. I just was like, no, this is not what I want to be doing.
And definitely my parents, my mother, she is in Pakistan. So I feel that's my home as well, because like my kids are part of me. I am part of my parents as well. So kind of that's my home as well. So every year I visit, go there. But I belong here now and my kids belong from here. So I'm split.
Communicating to people when we can't really see most of their face.
I live outside and sleep rough. I don't keep a tent. I move along. I keep moving. I'm not building a home every day, but I'm just managing outside. I've got a circulation problem and I haven't been able to wear closed shoes.
That was the door that I slammed so hard that the knob fell off. I have this constant surprise, the times that I have been back here since I left, about how much smaller it is than I think it was, because I got to know it with such familiarity when I was small myself, so obviously everything seemed bigger.
For my children, this is home. They are British through and through. And India is a tenuous link for them. But for us, especially with elderly parents and, it's... And I often find I'm very isolated here. As much, it's very difficult to transplant a grown tree.
So fortunate.
I can't do that. I can't walk home because I can't walk to Mexico.
Nisha's like, isn't it? It is like that, and also
Such a great line.
and here she is.
He was kidnapped and they've returned part of his ear.
Getty.
This is his estate, if you like. As far as the eye can see, if you walk and walk, he owns.
Yeah. With a blue tit or great tit in its clutch.
This is where Vicar of Dibley was filmed, full stop. All of it.
Good night, Mr. Tom, as well.
Yeah, went the day well.
Hello.
The GP for who are homeless, but slightly scuppered by COVID and so on. Normally it's sort of next to a night shelter where there's a lot of homeless people who live, and then the practice is right next door.
I mean, I've never felt American or anything. We were always just the English family living in America. I don't think I could call anywhere other than this home now.
I don't live here. I've come here for a craniosacral therapy treatment from a very old friend, and my life has been turned upside down and inside out in the past 3 years, and I have been nomadic now for 3 years, having sold my family home.
It got so quiet here, nothing much happened really during the lockdown.
There's a sort of expansion coming this way, but there's bits of, the medieval village,
Right.
or the outskirts of the medieval village, which we did some trial trenches and we found. So we've got to dig those out before the houses go up.
Badger? It's quite small for a badger, doesn't it?
There were 5 council small holdings here and some over the other side of the road. Yeah, well, it's falling down. It
Is
wants
it?
new windows, and that was quite a lot of things.
Hello. Oh, she's gone.
I moved at 11 from Luton to Watford. At that age, you spent years building up all your friends, and then suddenly you got to start again. So I went into secondary knowing absolutely no one. No, I ended up with really good friends in the end. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I'm living here now. Yeah, it's more quiet. Peaceful. Yeah, because you don't really hear the buses running
Thorn that's come out of the tyre. That's pancake.
Even though I am British born, my heritage is Indian, and I've grown up with these stories of India and then East Africa. They for me were imagined places that my parents called home. What that I think does in hindsight is it doesn't make your home feel like home.
one interpretation is that when the current generation of farmers come up to retirement, there aren't going to be too many people replacing them. Now, I mean, you know, if you can't make a living on 1,000 acres, as a, you know, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, Clarkson has an alternative employment which funds it. It would be a full-time job if I could make a living at it.
This is a village of Cumnor, which is sort of above Oxford. You know, this is the sort of thing my father would be really fascinated with.
Because this is this very branching coral.
So like these friends that are really dear to me are from my undergrad. Like to the 4 years I spent with those people, like the connections are so deep because there were so many shared experiences. And I think as an adult that's like, I don't know, it's like 20 years worth of experiences with a close friend, like all jammed into one. And so I'm feeling almost like, damn, like I miss those guys. Like I think maybe like that's part of home to me, is being able to actually connect with them.
I'm a pigeon fancier. At the end of the day, they've got this homing instinct, where other birds have. The swallows come back every year to the same place, and then go again. And they, you know, they travel incredible distances, thousands of miles, to actually come to the same corner of your property to breed.
With your thrashing stick, have you still got it?
I've got a caravan, and we're part of a group, not with us today, but for people who caravan on their own.
There was only two of us wanted to go this time, so we wanted to go and have a look at some of the lovely gardens down in Sussex.
So we're just on our way home.
The thing is, when you have a big family, you don't need so many friends.
That's true, that's true.
Because I feel German, I'm definitely German, like, undoubtedly. I've made it my home, but I think in the last few years, especially with Brexit and everything, I feel like I'm less welcome here than I used to be.
I feel that I've been blessed with the great fortune to say I've got 3 homes, 1 Scotland, 2 Gloucestershire around here, and the third one being Ibiza in Balearic Islands of Spain. And then I took up a role as a night watchman, thinking I'd like to work nights, but there's a difference between working nights in a hotel and being awake and out at night somewhere else. If you know what I mean.
Go along the lane.
Yeah.
No, I'm from Glasgow, and this is not home. Home is where you're brought up and where people speak the same language as you do. Very few people understand me down here. People here are extremely polite, so that I have no idea what they're saying. In Glasgow, we just say it as it is. Reading people is very different when you're not at home.
I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will live.
I must be one of those people look out their window as I'm going to my mum's the whole time. One of those people my mum said looks out the window, look at that extraordinary man. He must be doing this or that. Well, no, they're probably like me, coming to see their mum or something.
You're all right there. You look nice. Well, that's exactly what that emotion felt like.
We grow about 30 different types of chilies and quite a lot of different herbs. We grow things like mushroom plant and oyster plant and more unusual plants when we can.
Where we live in the family.
It's a base in the family.
In the family, mainly.
I would move away.
You would?
I would don't live by the coast because I love the coast. But
won't drag me away.
Won't drag.
No.
Never go.
Have to go on my own.
No.
Where do we go from here?
Bye.
Although we were home all the time, it didn't always feel like home because we weren't all together. Yeah.
An emotive subject at the moment because in my home I have this family because they have only just got themselves a new home and they're in the process of making it ready.
Where's our new house, Dougie?
I can hear it. That is the weirdest caterpillar. Gloucestershire!
I mean, I didn't want to move here, but it's amazing that it does become your home after you've been here for so long. You meet so many people, doesn't it? It's just nice. We like it round here.
Let's get... Here we've got an absolutely beautiful old farmhouse. She'll be coming round the mountain, coming round the mountain, coming round the mountain when she comes.
Home's where the cat is.
Home's where the orchards are.
Home is where you make it, isn't it? Home might be your tent.
Gonna go on round here.
Banana on the backpack. Open the backpack.
Nice little cottage. Nice help.
Yes, I was conceived and born. And, yeah, we've been here 68 years.
morning. I can't go away from you. Oh, I can't. I've got to be carried away when I go.
Market. We're going to make our supper, perhaps we'll come and cook it on this.
We just take it for granted. We live somewhere, and, and we just stay there.
The A44, you're near home. Or in London?
Well, so basically I was homeless and I sort of didn't mind for a bit. I thought it was quite no responsibilities. It was quite freeing. But then when the weather got bad, you realise that you needed somewhere warm.
Lovely red brick and green. What do you think? What sort of apples are those? They look like Worcesters.
They all work for the good of the hive, and if that means, even when they sting, it kills them, but that protects their hive, so they even go as far as like giving up their life for the hive, because it protects, if they get attacked by wasps or.
Walking along quite a main road. Up.
Thatch fields.
Oh.
One's body is one's home, really. And that learning to understand yourself as a sort of a being and an organism. Our bodies actually are quite wise, and they do tell us things if we have the ears to listen.
Devonian.
Jams, marmalades.
I think it's important to have a base somewhere you can always return to, or even if it's only in your mind, something that gives you some sense of existence.
Sort of like whereabouts a really lonely thing. This is About Face Theatre Company here, all gathered outside to greet me today.
Her family home into her own independent flat.
Puppet theatre, puppet show works, amazing. God, I'm losing track. Look, this is Erdsman. Pinkish.
I'm building a garden. Because I can't see much, I tend to put rocks on my feet and things like that. But it's all right, no one can see me. No one can see me. Found where I belong. And home is where you belong. And you don't know it until you get there.
I think home has always meant a sense of place for me, a location and an atmosphere. The tradition of living, spending time and becoming part of a place and its community. We've slowly developed our connection with the local community, and we've grown older with people who were young when we moved here and initially were a bit suspicious of us, but they're now friends, and that is now very rewarding. And
we went to Ibiza. I think I went there in the 80s to work there, and then I went.
Where my parents lived in East Kent, which was near Canterbury, we used to go a lot there. And I was aware then of, there was a particular point in the journey when we were sort of coming down the hill towards the village where I'd find myself singing. And I find there's a point here, there's a place called Penrose, which the hill comes down and down and down, and you get to Kington. And I do sometimes find myself singing, and it's something to do with seeing that view ahead to where I know my home is. And how lucky I am to have a home and have such a home.
I tried to build into this house that I built the smell of my grandparents' downstairs loo, which smelt of rotting rubber, old gym shoes and sports equipment. I did actually manage to achieve that, but it was a bit of a theatrical arrangement.